What's up guys, welcome back to the SLOPAR Boys YouTube channel, and on today's video we're going to talk a little bit about the TAZER DT for the 2019 Ram 1500. So if you're new here, welcome, my name's Isaac. If you're not new here, welcome back. Today's video, we're going to talk a little bit about the TAZER DT, some of its functions, give you a little bit of a walkthrough on how to install it, and then, we'll go through the marrying procedure, show you around on the screen how to navigate through it, and, we'll give you a little bit of a preview of the light shows and just talk a little bit about how well it works and how long I've had it. So, I've had the TAZER DT installed on my truck for a little over 6 months now, and so far it's been pretty good. Haven't had any issues with it, and I've enjoyed the small amount of features that I've actually been able to use out of it. Oh, this guy wants the sauce. The TAZER comes pre-installed with a lot of cool functions. Most people are going to be buying it specifically for the light show, but there's also other functions that I found useful, like the travel link disable, so when you're driving and it pops up with a weather alert, you actually have to manually hit OK to clear it on the screen. So that disables it. Some of the other functions that I disabled and enabled were the seatbelt chime. I disabled the fog light dropout so that when you turn your high beams on, normally it would shut the fog lights off, but I changed that with the TAZER so that it actually keeps the fog lights on. And then the only other thing that I changed was I added the cargo camera input. Even though I don't have a camera, I'm planning on installing one on the front of the truck, so I'll be able to add that function into it as well. When you buy your TAZER DT, it's going to come in a little box. The box pretty much just includes the TAZER itself and a USB cable so that you can hook it up to your computer. Right off the bat, if you want to, you can go ahead and hook up the TAZER DT to your computer and you can update it. I found that the update that was already on the TAZER when I bought it was just fine for what I needed. It has no real hiccups with it, because I've heard that some people have a few issues with certain updates, especially if you have other things hooked up to the truck. They can cause interference issues with the way that you actually interact with the TAZER on the steering wheel. If you want to update the TAZER, it's fairly simple. Hook it up to your computer, open up the CPU utility, and then you can just hit the little update button and it'll update the TAZER for you. Otherwise, if you're ready to toss it in the truck, you just plug it in. Now that we got all the introductory stuff out of the way, we're going to go ahead and show you actually how to navigate the menus of the TAZER. I'll show you how to marry it. I'm going to actually unmarry it from my truck first so you can see that. I'll remarry it, and then I'll change all my settings back to the way that I like them myself. We're going to start this walkthrough of the TAZER DT by unmarrying and remarrying the TAZER to my truck. To start by doing that, we need to access the setup menu. The only way the setup menu is accessed is by leaving the engine off and the ignition in the run position. Next, to access the TAZER DT's menus, you need to go down to the audio screen. Once you're at the audio screen, you're going to want to turn on the cruise control to access the TAZER DT's menus, and hold the left button on the left control pad. Cancel is used to navigate through the menus. Now that we've hit unmarry, to select it, we're going to hit the resume button. Let the TAZER DT do its thing. Don't mess with it while it's doing these processes. Don't turn the ignition off, don't mess with any buttons. The less you mess with, the safer it's going to be. To install the TAZER DT, you're going to want to access the SGW module, located up here. Undo the two connectors, like so. Next, you're going to want to plug in the TAZER DT into the two connectors that we removed from the SGW module. Once the TAZER is connected, the lights will flash and you can tuck it away, and we're ready to continue on to navigating through the menus and setting up the TAZER. Now that the TAZER is installed, we're going to need to marry it to the truck. We're going to start by keying the ignition on, but leaving the engine off. We'll navigate down to the audio menu. Turn on cruise control. Hold the left button on the left control pad and hit cancel to access the TAZER's menus. We'll move over to marry, hit the reset button, and let it do its thing. Now that it's married, we'll cycle the ignition off and then back on, still leaving the engine off, that way we can access the setup menus. Once again on the audio screen, we're going to turn on cruise control and then we're ready to access the menus. Holding the left button on the left control pad, we'll hit cancel to navigate through the menus. Here you can access the light shows. You can clear check engine lights with this function. Unmarry it if we'd like to. Now we can access the performance pages. To get into this menu, we're going to hit the reset button. Here we can program the tire size, the gear ratio, and select the gear ratio for the low gear in the transfer case. Next menu is going to be the tire menu. By hitting the resume button, we can access the TPMS menu. We can turn on and off the TPMS sensors here and adjust what we want the tire pressures to go off at. The next menu is going to be the radio menu. Turn on and off the cargo camera, which we're going to turn on. Enable or disable the CD player. And turn on or off Travel Link, which I'm going to turn off. The next menu is going to be the lighting menu. Here, you can select where you want the DRLs to be. I'm not so sure if this function works. I've tried it a couple times. It doesn't seem to work for me. It might be different on your truck. Here's the DRL dropout. If you want to set it so that when your turn signal turns on, the DRLs turn off, you can do it here. Here, you can enable or disable the fog lights. Enable or disable the fog light dropout when the high beams are on, which we're going to set to off. That way when I turn my high beams on, the fog lights stay on. Here, you can turn on or off the one-touch turn signals. So that's when you hit the turn signal like this, you can disable that there. Turn on or off the halos. Here's the settings if you wanted to add the LED third brake light. You'd want this to say yes if you had it installed. My truck came factory with the LED package, so all of mine are going to say yes here. But if you didn't have the LED package and you wanted to add it, you could turn the LED fogs on here. Same goes for the taillights. Here, you can turn on or off if you have the trailer tow package. The next menu is going to be the off-road menu. I don't know why you would want to do this, but if you want to disable the electronic power steering, you can do it here. Same goes for the rear locker. If you wanted to add the axle with the electronic locking diff, you could do it here. Next is going to be some more options. Auxiliary switches can be turned on or off here. Turn on or off blind spot. Here you can disable the belt ding. Here you can change your splash screen. I've heard of some people having issues with this one, so use it wisely. If it doesn't work for you, you can always just change it back. Enable or disable the panic button on your fob. Now the Tazer's firmware is displayed, and then the full reboot function. Z-Auto recommends that if you change anything in the setup menu, or especially with the radio, you're going to want to do a full reboot every single time. It's probably a good idea to just get a habit of doing it whenever you change settings. It doesn't hurt. Sometimes it might take 2 or 3 key cycles for stuff to actually take effect. We'll do this now. While the Tazer's doing this, don't mess with it at all. You'll see your radio turn on and off a few times. You might see the dash turn off. Now that the reboot is complete, we'll key the ignition on, and we're going to start the truck. With the truck running, you no longer access the setup menu. Now you're accessing the live menu. It's accessed the same way. We're going to start by turning on cruise control, and again, holding the left button on the left control pad. This menu is going to look very similar, because it is. You can access the light shows here by hitting the resume button. It'll let you cycle through the 6 light shows as well as the 3 custom ones, whatever you have set. I'm going to give you guys a demonstration of what each light show is, and just a sample of the custom shows that I created. The next menu is going to be in motion, which is talking about the navigation keyboard. The next setting is going to be the turn cam, so that when you turn on the turn signal, it turns on the backup camera. This function cannot be used if the in motion navigation is turned off. Auto folding mirrors can be changed here. The mirrors will fold in and out whenever the ignition is keyed on, which I didn't really like. Dark mode, so that when the truck is in park, everything is dimmed, the DRLs are dimmed, and the screen is dimmed. Video settings, 0 to 30 timer, 0 to 60 timer, which both work that as soon as you hit the gas, it starts recording the time. And once again, the firmware. To exit the TAZER DT's menus, all you need to do is cycle through until you see nothing displayed, and then turn off cruise control. The TAZER also includes some hot functions that can be accessed without going through the entire menu. They're accessed by using the plus, resume, and minus buttons. To set these, you need to be in the audio menu and hold right on the left pad. Continue to hit each button until you reach the desired setting. I'm going to set the plus one to light show number 2. And I'm going to set the right one to be the backup camera. Let's test out some of these live functions. If we hit the plus button, it'll turn on the light show. You can tell the light show is running because the cargo light indicator will be flashing. We can turn it off by hitting the set button again. You'll see it come on and then shut off. Let's test up the backup camera button. Here we can see as well, since I turned on the cargo camera, it works. The TAZER also includes a full traction control disable feature. The way that this is accessed is with the truck running, come over to the traction control button and hold it. This completely disables your traction control system. The only way for you to get it back, because the button doesn't work to turn it back on, is to actually shut the truck off and turn it back on. You can see here as well that the TAZER remembers what functions you had on or off. So since I had traction control off before the truck was shut off, it'll turn it back off for me when the truck is started again. The same goes for tow haul mode. Lastly, the TAZER has functions that can be accessed using the key fob. Hit unlock, unlock, lock, and then unlock to access the light shows from outside of the truck. Unlock again will let you cycle through the different light shows. Hitting lock stops the light shows from going on. Hitting the unlock button on the key fob 5 times rolls the windows down. Hitting the lock button 5 times will roll the windows back up. So overall, would I recommend the TAZER DT? Absolutely. If you want it just alone for the light show functions, go ahead and get it because it's a cool thing to have. There's a couple little features that are, handy if you really want to use them. If you've got a truck that doesn't come with the LED package and you want to add that package, this is a great way for you to do it. The TAZER's got a lot of little functions in it. Is it worth it for the price point? I'd say it is. Alright guys, that about wraps it up for this video. This video has been about the TAZER DT for the 2019 Ram 1500. If you liked the video, make sure you toss it a like. Comment down below if you have any questions or if you have any comments about what we should be doing on the channel. And then as always, make sure that you subscribe and hit that little bell next to the subscribe button. That way you get notified of when we post. See you later.